G'day guys and gal. There are a lot of characters you love to hate in Warhammer 40k, either through their actions, personality, or a mix of both. Now many people would say that Erebus is the most hated character in 40k, but I'd like to offer up a contender for that title, that being Lucius the Eternal. This guy is a backstabbing coward who cosplays as the galaxy's greatest swordsman, despite his many humiliating deaths, which should have been satisfying for us. However, his ability to revive himself via the body of his slayer makes even these deaths unfun. If you Google Lucius, there's more content about why everyone hates him rather than who he actually is. So I thought I'd do both today, since merely talking about him will make you understand the hate. Before we get started, there's only 4 more days until we give away the legendary Rylanor's Last Stand diorama via Dice Dioramas. We spent a shitload of time and effort bringing Rylanor's Last Stand to life, the most epic moment from the lore, hiring pro painters, diorama builders, and now it's ready to find its forever home. For your chance to take this bad boy home, all you gotta do is sign up to Dice Dioramas and pick a membership tier. This will also grant you discounted codes to our partner brands, access to private pro painter workshops, and non-diorama giveaways. For example, alongside the Rylanor's Last Stand giveaway, we're also giving away something to each membership tier, so even the low tiers that don't have high odds can still win. As a bit of a hint, we only have 6 gold members, so currently gold members have a 1 in 6 chance of winning a Warhammer starter set valued at over $100. All the tier giveaways will be announced alongside the winner of Rylanor's Last Stand. We are in this for the long haul. The next 3 dioramas are already in progress. Chris has been hired full time, but we do need your support. The more members we have, the more giveaways and larger giveaways we can do. Even if you were just to sign up at the bronze tier, use a discount code to Geology, Major Minis, Manscaped, or whoever else, you would actually make back your membership fee very easily. I know a lot of you have signed up to Geology, but the sign up bonus was a one-time thing. With Dice, you can get a permanent 20% off code being a bronze member. The maths of that is elite. We also recently rolled out the option to get a membership boost, which is a one-time payment for those that are only interested in a single diorama giveaway and don't want to have reoccurring payments, with existing members also able to use these boosts to increase their odds of winning. So use the link below to sign up to Dice Dioramas today. Imagine having Rylanor's Last Stand. Today we'll go over the lore of Lucius the Eternal, which will also reveal why he's such a hated piece of shit. Let's get into it. Lucius was one of the first Emperor's children in the Legion, however he was born on Chemos instead of Terra. From a young age he was a bastard with wicked swordsman skills. Because of his ruthlessness and skill, he gained a lot of attention, not all of it good. He would often kill peasants and say that they attacked him first, or if he tried to teach his swordsmanship to pupils, they would end up losing fingers or eyes. Lucius finally gained the attention of the Emperor's children when he won Chemos' annual swordsmanship contest, killing a champion twice his age, which finally moved the Emperor's children to recruit him. Now the thing about Space Marines is that it's rarely a popularity contest when it comes to promotions. Space Marines are focused on efficiency and effectiveness, both of which Lucius was, so it's no surprise he ended up becoming the captain of the 13th Company, his skill with the blade being so famed that other heroes of other legions heard of him and were eager to test their skills against his. He would go on to duel many other Space Marines in honor duels, winning every single duel except one, his infamous duel with Garviel Loken. Basically, Lucius was a master duelist, but Garviel was a pit-fighting brawler, so when the duel started, Garviel played dirty, drew Lucius in and then punched him in the nose so hard that he broke it, ruining Lucius's otherwise perfect face. This also counted as first blood due to the blood from the nose. The only other Space Marine to humiliate Lucius like this was Azkaellon, captain of Sanguinius' Sanguinary Guard. Sanguinius sent Azkaellon to duel Lucius as he wanted his captain to become more vicious and brutal, instead of being in complete strict control all the time. So even though Lucius technically won the duel and scored first blood, Azkaellon ignored it and beat the shit out of Lucius, even throwing him off the platform they fought on. With Lucius's nose broken, he had a bit of a mental breakdown and he began cutting his own face, ruining it, kind of like a message to others that he didn't give a fuck and that he was secure in shit, which would be proven to be false as he would regret these actions and actively try to fix his face later on. Amazingly, Lucius was actually extremely close friends with the legendary Faultless, who was arguably the most noble and awesome Emperor's Children legionnaire, alongside Rylanor of course. Perhaps because they were so opposite from each other they got along, Lucius being aloof, childish and silly with Sol being serious, straightforward and controlled. They fought side by side on the planet of Murder, killing big ass arachnid monsters and getting even closer. Now I do need to provide some context on what happened next, as Lucius was originally considered a loyalist during the heresy, which I know sounds confusing. When the heresy broke out, Faultless was designated as someone who would remain loyal to the Emperor, thus must be killed. He was given the honor of leading the Emperor's children spear to Basalt, which was a trap as the traitor legions would then bomb the world and wipe out all the loyalists. Saul wasn't an idiot though. The orders made no sense. Why would the extremely prideful Eidolon not lead the final assault? Why were squads broken up and then put back together in nonsense formations? So Saul stayed on board Eidolon's starship to investigate. He discovered the traitor's plan and flew down to the planet, warning his brothers and allowing most of them to reach cover before the bombs fell. From here they led a last stand, killing traitors and delaying them for as long as they could. Now Lucius was actually also designated as a loyalist and was sent to the surface to die. This is because of his friendship with Saul. Now Lucius started off as an effective loyalist champion, slaughtering traitors left and right. However, when he saw Saul getting lauded as the leader of the loyalists and not himself, his resentment grew and he decided he wasn't going to die on this shithole if no one was kissing his ass. So in the next battle, Lucius challenged an Emperor's Children traitor chaplain to a duel and he cut off his head. This appeared to be for noble loyal reasons, but in truth he knew that the chaplain's helmet would have a direct command vox link to Eidolon. Lucius promised to sell out the loyalists if he was allowed to rejoin the traitors, which Eidolon accepted. Lucius attacked his own loyalist brothers at a secret entrance which would allow the traitors to outflank the loyalists. Tragically, the loyalist hero Solomon Demeter arrived at the scene and Lucius tricked him into helping him kill his loyalist brothers, thinking they were the traitors, not Lucius. It was only when his brothers were dead that Lucius turned on the wounded Solomon and slew him as well. Solomon was a legend who had endured so much, and seeing him die like this made my blood boil. Saul then arrives on the scene himself and sees the monster that his old friend has turned into. Lucius doesn't give a fuck and the two duel. Lucius is better and Saul is losing, but then Saul does something unexpected. He shrugs off his control and calculated combat and he just fucking launches himself at Lucius, taking the swordsman by surprise. This gives Saul the upper hand as more loyalists arrive and they shoot at Lucius, who flees like the coward he is. The loyalists are eventually destroyed alongside Saul, with Lucius being returned to his legion with full honours. Lucius would become a Lord Commander and leader of Fulgrim's assault marine bodyguard. He was one of the warriors who believed Fulgrim to be possessed by a demon and subdued him in order to try exorcise the demon from him. However, it was revealed that Fulgrim just had become a massive piece of shit and didn't actually have a demon in him anymore. Lucius would accompany his legion during the events of Angel Exterminatus, basically one big ruse for Fulgrim to try trick Perturabo and steal his brother's life force to fuel his own ascension to become a demon prince. During these events, Lucius fought Nakonai Sharakin and was overjoyed to duel such a sublime warrior, especially as their first fight ended in Lucius getting his cheek cut. They would have a rematch, and to Lucius's horror, Nakonai outclassed him, cutting him again before plunging both of his swords into Lucius's hearts, killing the swordsman. Nakonai didn't even think of Lucius as a worthy warrior, just a rabid dog that needed to be put down. However, Slaanesh wasn't done with Lucius, so she empowered Fabius Bile to be able to revive Lucius, something that shocked both Lucius and Fabius. After the events of Angel Exterminatus, the Emperor's children scattered as Fulgrim couldn't be fucked leading them anymore. Lucius travelled to the Thousand Suns, hearing of them having a legendary bladesman, and he did manage to find said legend. The two dueled, with Lucius getting outclassed and was impressed to see techniques used that he had never seen before. But then the random bullshit of "I saw red and got mad" kicks in, and Lucius somehow disarms the swordsman, but before he can slay him, Ahriman intervenes and is like, "Please don't kill our best swordsman, we need him. Also, you can come on this quest too." Lucius journeys with the Thousand Suns to retrieve the shards of Magnus and restore the Primarch to his former glory. Lucius would somehow survive this ordeal, going through many twists and turns as a character, and even getting his face remade so that it looks like Fulgrim's. After this, Lucius went off by himself, killing random people for the lulz until Fulgrim called out to his legion to rejoin him for the Siege of Terra. Now Lucius did fight in the Siege of Terra, however he wasn't really a main focus or anything. We don't really get to see him do much, so his story picks up again after the Siege of Terra. After the siege, Fulgrim once again started getting bored, so he created massive gladiatorial games on their homeworld, games that Lucius always won, until one day he didn't, as he was slain by Lord Commander Sarius, which birthed the meme, "Is Lucius the greatest duelist in all the legions?" To which the response is, Lucius isn't even the greatest duelist in the Emperor's Children. However, Slaanesh quite liked Lucius, more so for his attitude and style, rather than for his skill or usefulness, so Slaanesh granted him a special power. If someone was to slay Lucius and feel pride or satisfaction at their actions, Lucius would be reborn through them, with their soul then getting trapped within Lucius's armor. Sarius, an Emperor's Children, obviously felt pride, so within a few weeks he began losing his hair, his skin split, his armor malformed, and eventually Lucius was reborn, with Sarius now just a screaming face in Lucius's armor. This is when Lucius went from Emperor's Children's swordsman to extremely fucked up ugly monster thing that has a tentacle hentai whip. Lucius is such a shit champion that he has died dozens of times, with each face on his armor representing someone who has killed him and that he was reborn through. The curse is so powerful that even when a Necron killed him, Lucius managed to be reborn through the Necron, which makes no sense but okay. Lucius is also a pretty terrible commander, and he really struggles to lead Chaos Warbands, with him either leading them to their deaths or barely being able to build them up in the first place. Hence often Lucius just attaches himself to other warbands to gain the opportunity to kill enemy champions. And yeah, sure, he has killed lots of enemy champions, but no one that really matters. Like sure, killing a Black Templar Empress champion is cool, so is killing a Dark Elder Archon, or an Orc Warboss, or a Necron Overlord, but it's less cool when these characters were only created for Lucius to kill. Lucius Lucius was once killed because he stepped on a landmine, and just because the guy that made the landmine felt pride in his craft, that was enough for Lucius to be reborn through him. He's just a bubbly fuck that runs around without a care in the world because he can't really die, deliberately avoiding anyone that could permanently kill him. You won't see him challenge Gilliman, that's for damn sure. With Nakoni also potentially still being alive in the setting, that could be a really hectic rematch showdown. As an extra note, with the Emperor's Children getting a range refresh soon, Games Workshop has recently teased what many believe is a new Lucius model, and I would agree. You can see his tentacle hentai whip, a sword, and what looks like a very loud power pack, not to mention the pink background. To me, that's just a straight up no-brainer, so hopefully we'll get some juicy lore about what he's been up to in the current setting, probably getting fucked up by a guardsman or falling into a ditch or some shit. Lucius is by far the least impactful and useful Chaos Champion, partnered up with the fact that he's a stuck-up wanky dick who thinks he's the best, and you have a recipe for a fuckwit that nobody likes. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then join Dice Dioramas. Discount codes, 40k giveaways, diorama giveaways, give it a shot, you won't regret it. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real subscribe button for more hateable content. Join the Discord for more memes and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.